Today we're going to be learning about the artist Alexander Calder. He was an American artist. He was a painter who used mostly the primary colors, and also he was a sculptor. Sculptures are three-dimensional works of art like this. He mostly used metal and plastic to make his sculptures. These are some examples of his mobiles. He's very famous for making mobiles, kind of like what hangs over a baby's bed. It has to be balanced on both sides. So these are some examples of those. He also made wire sculptures, especially of faces and animals. Here you can see some fish wire sculptures and other shapes.
Alexander's sculptures explored space and balance, and today we're going to make our own paper sculptures inspired by his work. You will need your own scissors, a Sharpie, markers, or crayons to embellish your sculptures. We're going to start with one large piece of paper, and we're going to make two medium sculptures with this large piece of paper. So first thing we're going to do is fold it in half so it makes another rectangle. So line up your edges so that you get a nice even line that goes right down the center. So we fold it in half, and now we're going to open it up and we're going to cut right down that line to split the piece of paper into two. Okay, now that we're working with one half of our larger piece, we're going to fold it in half again. Make sure you line up those edges and get a good crease. Now I'm left-handed, so when I start cutting, I'm going to make sure the crease is on the right side and cutting from the left to the right. Now if you're right-handed, make sure your crease is on the left side and you're cutting from right to the left. So when I start cutting, I'm going to make sure that I stop short of where the crease is, because if we cut all the way, then your sculpture will fall apart, it won't stand up. We need to have a little bit of space here, because that is going to give us stability to make a column right through the center of your sculpture. It'll help give it a lot more structure. So again, I'm going to speed this up. Okay, now that we're done cutting, we're going to open up our sculpture. Right now it's just like a flat piece of paper. We're going to start folding, and we're going to fold like an accordion. So on one side I'm going to work folding in, then the next one I'm going to fold to the back, and then the next one on this side I'm going to fold in, and then the final one on this side I'm going to fold to the back. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side, but we're going to flip the directions because that's going to give our sculpture balance. So on this side, I'm going to actually fold to the back first. So here I'm folding to the back. And then the next leg I'm going to fold in. And the next leg I'm going to fold back. And the next leg I'm going to fold in. You can fix your legs and stand them up and kind of tweak them so they're even, and look, now you have a sculpture. Now I'm going to show you another option of how to cut your sculpture so it looks a little bit different. I hope you explore with different ways of cutting your sculpture to play with that space and balance. So I'm using one of my smaller pieces of papers, and I'm going to cut like a triangle at the top, so it gives it, when I've unfolded it, it'll give it like a triangle shaped roof. Again, we're going to cut moving in towards that creased line, but again, not cutting too close. So if you want to embellish your sculpture, you want to do it before you fold it. So I'm going to add polka dots to this sculpture. So I've laid it flat, and now I'm adding polka dots all over. And once I'm done with this side, I'm gonna also flip it over and do it the other side, because remember, once we start folding, this becomes a three-dimensional sculpture, and we want it to show on all sides. So now I'm gonna go ahead and flip it over and add some polka dots to this side. And now we're gonna fold it again like an accordion. So on this left side, I'm gonna fold inwards and then back, and then the next leg in, and the next leg back, and the next leg in, and that final leg, I'm gonna make a little bit of a crease to the back. So now we got the left side done of this sculpture. We're gonna go ahead and do the right side, and we're gonna flip the orientation, so to the back first, and then the next leg comes in, and then the next leg will go to the back, and the next leg in, and so on and so forth until you've finished folding your sculpture. Now I'm just going to do a quick tutorial if you use the full-size paper. So if you're all done making a couple different sculptures, you can ask for another piece of paper and you can do a large full-size sculpture. And I'm also going to show you a different way to cut your sculpture, so it might have a little bit more of a rounded rainbow style look to it. So I'm going to start cutting, and again, we got a crease on one side and we're cutting towards it. So I've kind of circled in to give my leg a little bit of a curve, kind of like a rainbow, but it's going to flatten out at the top. Again, we're working our way in and leaving some space between the end of our cut and where the crease of our paper is. Now I'm going to round this edge up here as well, so each leg looks like it is like a rounded rainbow. And again, if we're going to embellish, I'm going to use my stickers on this larger one, and I'm going to put my dot stickers on both sides of the paper. I'm going to speed up to the end of this video to give you more time to work on your sculptures. I hope you enjoyed making these paper sculptures inspired by the modernist Alexander Calder. Here are some volunteer examples I hope give you inspiration to try something new and different.